And even though, like, there's nobody
Oh,
here but me and Joe, we're live.
let me
because
turn
we're
this guy up.
because it's after 2 o'clock, and if we're gonna be late this time, it's not my fault. We're late because of
Yeah, right.
literally the rest of the
You're
world.
actually. Is there even anyone on the YouTube thing besides us? It
We
says
have three
two
viewers.
waiting, so
One of them might be me.
I'll say I know I'm one of them because I'm looking at it because I like to look at the chat. But no, I think we're just. I think the fact that we are live has changed nothing, save for it's going to be later recorded. Uh,
So what's up with you, Joe?
oh my God, yesterday. Um, so apparently everyone decided that the early to mid March is when they're just gonna start behaving badly in Wisconsin. So our population is through the roof. So forcing's gotten pretty bad again. And yesterday,
Okay, now the way you
or
said that made
rather,
it sound like early to mid March. People are going to go crazy, so your population has gone through the roof. Makes it sound like 9 months ago people were fucking.
oh no, the population at the mental hospital I work at,
Okay.
not the population of Wisconsin. Although, let's see, 9 months. No, that's not the time. What do you call it? There tends to be in colder regions, there tends to be a population spike 9 months after the beginning through
Of winter.
the end of winter.
So yeah, around late summer, early fall.
Hmm.
And for a lot of people in the South, you tend to get babies being born about 6 or 7 months after their parents got married.
I was wondering where you're going with that. I'm like, are we making a there's a lot of premature babies in the South joke? Oh, no, just shotgun weddings.
Yes. It's like, Mom, Dad, we can see, we can count from your anniversary to when Ben was born. We know. I can say this knowing full well that neither of my parents are ever going to watch this.
For the longest time, I had thought that the word etymology or the phrase etymology for shotgun in the car was also the same one for shotgun weddings. It
No,
is
you're
not.
riding shotgun. It's the guy who holds the shotgun. Whereas
Yeah.
shotgun
When
wedding,
you're
it's because you
when you
came
force the
inside
groom
someone
to
like a
get married,
shotgun.
that is that is not that is where that analogy's from. Is angry fathers making sure that
Hmm.
that
And
what do you
brothers
call
and
it?
uncles and
New
everyone
sons-in-law.
else
Yep,
who
yep,
has
yep.
a weird, creepy incest vibe because honor
Mm.
culture is weird and the worst. So what's up with you, Edie?
Uh, I'm pretty much going to be stuck in my apartment for the next 3 weeks
Is the elevator still broken?
because no, it's getting fixed, but it's going to take 3 weeks.
Oof.
Yeah, so that's fun. But at least I can. I've arranged it in a way that I can put my scooter down outside in a garden, and then I can hobble down the stairs and so I can get to my physiotherapist appointment because 3 weeks is a long time not to see a physiotherapist when you have cerebral palsy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and my physiotherapist said it wasn't a bad idea for me to practice walking on stairs. So so that's what's going on. And then I'm
So let's see.
kind
The
of
elevator
sad
is
and frustrating.
broken. You have a disability, so
Yeah,
I'm going to assume it's somehow your fault. Because
yeah,
you can always blame the nearest disabled person. Let's
yeah.
see.
That was me. I jumped in the elevator and it broke. Yeah,
I know you've been using it, and using things makes them break. That's how it's your fault.
yeah, yeah. It's just, it's just like, oh, it's so bothersome with these tenants. They always break things by using them.
Oh my
And I have to keep
goodness.
on replacing carpets, and why can't they just give me their money and then not exist anymore? Like the Native
Yeah,
Americans. God.
yeah,
Oh.
and why can I not just surely paint this thing so that you can't see the black mold?
Ugh.
Yeah,
It's true. If you can't see it, black mold can't hurt you.
And if you just keep
yeah,
painting over it, then the lead paint isn't a problem.
yeah.
That's actually the law.
Mm.
They don't remove the lead paint, they just paint over it. Over and over again.
It's so scummy because there was another tenant who asked if they could build like a little shed for our scooters outside so we wouldn't run into this problem all the time. And he got told no by the renters association. So the I don't know. Do you have like big corporations who rent out houses
Oh, yes.
in America?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That is one of the reasons why rent is such a problem right now. Is
Okay.
because instead of people being able to buy houses, you
Yeah.
have assholes like Warren Buffett, or not Warren Buffett.
Yeah. No, but do you have like
Warren Buffett's the actor.
in Denmark we have like big associations for
No, Warren
kind of
Beatty's the actor. I
affordable
think you're
housing.
right. It is Warren
Oh,
Buffett.
yes, yes, you're right. Warren Beatty's the actor. Warren Buffett is the real
Mm.
estate guy.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
also
wait
the
a
Koch
minute.
brothers.
No.
They're buying up all the houses and renting them out. So, but you were
Uh,
saying something, Ely.
but but they said no, we can't build a shed. It's too expensive. But we also can't fix the lift because it's too expensive. And then we told uh, the the local government who handles these kinds of things for disabled people, can we build a shed? And they said no, it's too expensive. So it's like it's like what the fuck are we supposed to do? It's really annoying. It's just like they keep just pushing the the, the expense around on each other. It's it's kind of
Uh,
frustrating.
Reminds me of
you
Abigail
should.
Thornton, Philosophy Tube's video about her experience trying to get gender affirming care. Just
Yeah,
getting bumped
You
yeah,
from
should.
useless system to useless system, in a system that's designed not to work.
yeah.
I'll say you should see if you can at least get permission to like get a shed built if you would do it and then put up a thing if you really want it done because sadly relying on systems can just be frustrating.
Yeah, but
I mean
Or you
the
can
other
get
the
them.
other
You can
thing is
just build
just
it
build it.
yourself and bill them for it, and
yeah,
or
That
get
might
somebody
work.
else to build it. Tell them that you already have permission, and then send them over to get the bit money from the people. Forgiveness rather
yeah,
than permission is what I'm saying.
yeah,
That has the unfortunate possibility of them taking it personally and just breaking it though.
yeah, yeah. It's the, I don't think that would work. I think what's actually likely to happen in our situation is that at a certain point, this house becomes uninhabitable because it's so broken down, and then everyone just gets moved out because it's cheaper than to fix it because it's it's pretty shoddily made. And but the funny thing is it has like the building is sort of it, when it was built, it got an accommodation for squeezing the most apartments into the smallest area possible. So that's like a bit funny, but it's really shoddily built.
Well, that's what
That's
happens
kind of
when you have a communist system like Denmark's.
yeah, yeah.
Communism is inefficient and bad.
Yeah.
Proof. Proof.
It's totally not profit driven at all.
Mm-mm. No. No. I bet you had to wait in long lines for your apartment too. Communists.
No, not really, because the local government has they can refer you to special housing for disabled people. So that
Something about
wasn't
bread.
really yeah, yeah. But the drawback is that I can't really choose where I want to live because the apartment needs to be suitable for disabled people. Not that this place is very suitable, but
It has an elevator. Therefore,
yeah,
ergo,
it has
Propterhawk.
an elevator. It has an elevator. Yeah. So, so it's yeah, but anyway, I'm sad and frustrated for trans people living in Tennessee.
Tennessee,
That's also
Texas, Utah is
Anywhere
also being a
really,
dick.
but yeah, those. Ugh.
it's
Like the governor of Utah vetoed a bill that would have banned trans athletes in their public schools. And he's like, the numbers that I'm concerned about here are 75,000, 4, and 1. 75,000 student athletes, 4 trans athletes, 1 trans girl athlete. They were trying to pass a bill to fuck over 4 people, 4 children.
yeah,
He
And
vetoed it,
and
and they overrode
probably
his veto.
not even all of them, because chances are, all 4 of them probably weren't going to join sports.
No, those were the 4 student athletes specifically.
Oh, okay.
so it's so mind-boggling to me that we're such a small group and they go after us all the time. It's like it's just like, but I know it's because we're a small group and people can lie about us without any sort of repercussions, because people never there are very few people that talk to trans people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really frustrating that they it's really sort of like, but I still feel sad, and I get very tired and sort of I have to remind myself I don't live in the United States.
It could be
Sometimes,
worse. You
but
could be American. Yeah.
yeah, but I still feel really
And that
sad
is now the
because
title of this episode.
yeah,
Oh, that is not a fun thought, but ooh.
yeah, it's just like
Don't worry, citizens of the world. At least you're not American.
yeah, but I worry about with your with your military power. If you go full flesh, the rest of the world is pretty screwed because we
Well,
can't.
it's not so much the military power at the moment as our control of the IMF and World Bank.
Yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
doing the exact same thing, just with loans.
Yeah, it's just like
Let's see. Minnesota just set it up to be a safe haven legally. It's illegal to work with other states' anti-trans stuff here currently. Well, that's nice.
Oh my goodness.
Minnesota is still
It's
incredibly racist and so on, but at least they're trying. Don't want to check.
just because the power is soft doesn't mean that it can't fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I mean, they'll have to put on a strap on or something or get a pump.
Oh.
where's the rest of people? Did they not?
It's the
Get the-
time change is what Joe and I were speculating.
Oh,
Yeah, because it'd be really weird for Geek not to at least say something.
I mean, he
Yeah.
reminded me that this was second
Mhm.
Sunday, which is why I was able to post the link. Of course, he reminded me in the group chat on Facebook at 4 a.m. So,
Oh my goodness.
and I just remembered. Oh, that's when they changed their time in the states,
Mm.
because for our for in Denmark it's in 2 weeks. I think that we change over.
Oh yeah, that must be a real pain in the ass trying to keep track of other countries' time zones.
Yeah, and there have been talks about abolishing daylight savings time, but it hasn't happened.
Well, we did here
Nope.
in the U.S. This is the last time change that we're going to do.
Is it?
When, yeah,
Oh,
they
I
passed the
didn't hear
law
that.
last year sometime, or the year before. It's like one of the first things that Uncle Joe did um, was get rid of that, and I think that they put us permanently on this time, and thus we fell back. The law got passed. We're gonna spring forward today, and I think that's it.
Yeah, but it was supposed to happen in Europe in 2001, but then it hit, and then everything didn't happen anyway. And I just think it's weird. What does COVID have to do with not passing a law to to abolish it? Because it is annoying, and also there was a time where not all countries in Europe had it didn't change. I Back in 2001, I went to this boarding
Oh no,
school
they
with some
haven't passed
people.
it. My bad. They've just talked
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, with some people from Estonia, and they didn't change their time in their country at that time, because they weren't a member of the European Union at that time. So, so that was funny, because for me it's like it seems like a natural thing that happens every year. Oh, we changed the time, but it's really not that old. I thought it was much older, the whole time changing thing.
So here's my question: as the U.S. falls into fascism, other nations are going to distance themselves from us. And that's going to be easier and easier to do because we've outsourced everything. Our population is getting poorer. Our economy is going to start retracting. Will it be better for the world that, what's my thing? Who should call it? China becomes the global monopole.
That's hard to say because what do you call it? As much as fascism is a particularly vile strain of authoritarianism,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like Chinese authoritarianism is good
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to
or
say
would help
how
the rest of
bad
the
China
world.
really is because all the news we can get here is
Yeah, yeah.
filtered through our propaganda networks.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Of course, the only people I hear trying to say good things about China also happen to believe in conspiracy theories like the CIA killed Gary Webb. They didn't. He
it,
committed suicide.
the, the, there really shouldn't be big superpowers in the world.
Well,
We should.
obviously, I'm just wondering what
Yeah,
kind of nightmare will we be under the Chinese Empire as opposed to the U.S. Empire?
I don't know. It's really hard to say. It's like it's like there are a lot of things that happen in China that we don't know anything about, because they don't have free press in China, like
Yeah, I think a lot of the biggest change
Uh oh.
illusions that a lot of the
OBS disconnected.
things that who's disconnected.
OBS. So the stream is getting interrupted and it's reconnected. Okay, we're
Um,
back.
yeah.
a lot of the illusions of
Oh, hi.
what do you call it?
It's a geek.
First time in how many years have been doing this show now? Over 3 years.
The
Ugh.
government may have been involved in MLK Phoenix. They did kill Fred Hampton, We don't know the depth of their involvement with the assassination of Malcolm X. They could have been involved with MLK, but we don't really have any good evidence on that one. They did not kill him.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about this a lot.
I mean, it's hard to give them a completely free pass because they were sending letters to him
Mhm.
to encourage him to commit suicide.
Those were death
So
threats. Let's be honest.
it's like well, I mean, maybe you didn't do it, but you were at least considering it.
And there are suspicious elements to the whole thing. Like the fact is, this guy was a loser, James Earl Ray, and he was on the run. He was a white supremacist. He would have wanted to, all that sort of stuff. But this loser who's been hiding from the government of Missouri because he escaped from prison for armed robbery. He gets a rifle. That's really easy to do in Tennessee in 1970, whatever. But then he also gets 2 fake passports and a ticket to London in the single day that it took him to acquire the gun and assassinate MLK. Or he already had those things but hadn't left for some reason. I mean, it's hinky, but we can't say that the government was involved. It might have just been a white supremacist was about to flee the country, and he got the biggest lucky break that a white supremacist could ever ask for when MLK shows up on his doorstep the day he's about to leave. Coincidence, but they do happen, and we don't really have any good evidence that the government was involved. They could have faked the fingerprints on the gun, things like that, set him up to be a patsy. That is a plausible story, but we don't have any evidence for it that I've been able to discover. They did not assassinate Gary Webb. That ruined his life, and then he died by suicide 10 years later. Shedding on leftist dreams on our
So
internet
what did I
streams.
miss?
Oh, and Jonathan, you didn't
Yes.
oversleep as badly as you think. Daylight saving time happened. That's why it's 2:30.
In hell, we spring forward.
What happened to your forehead, man?
Okay,
He wears greasy hats.
a couple is I think like either there's somehow a pimple like end up here. Sometimes I'm also playing Fortnite. Hate myself for like dying in Fortnite, so I actually do hit myself actually a
no.
lot. So I do this, but then it's like when there's one of these things on there, I just like nervous habit or something like
Pick
this.
at it,
It's like,
yeah.
yeah, I do this. And so I sometimes have to just like tape something here to prevent me
not gonna
from
help.
doing that.
Wear headbands. Headbands
Yeah.
will breathe
Probably
and they
gonna
won't
have to, like,
block your
do
pores,
this.
right?
I was gonna say my nose is a wreck for the same reason, but the lighting doesn't make it like so. Like
Yes,
it,
well, when I like like have hangouts, I sometimes will have to like tape up on my fingers so to prevent me from like picking at the hangnails too. Um,
I'm allergic to my shampoo or something. You can't really see it. I
oh,
have six, I
mm.
have six on the side of my neck, and I think it's my
Okay,
shampoo.
obviously we just need to get cones for all of you, like Wesley, who's
Yeah.
Yes.
either that or we all just have to get VTuber things and nobody notices.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
The only thing I really miss about COVID mask is if you got like a cold sore, no one could see that you had a cold sore because your face was covered. That was a
Mhm.
huge advantage because it's just
this
Not
is why
fun.
we should all be furries, let's be honest.
yeah.
well, yes. Yeah, well, I am a fox already. Just I don't have like the art to prove I'm a fox.
But really, the problem with furries is that their suits are way too expensive.
Yeah.
There's that too. But like, there's many people, furries that like don't have a persona yet, or something like that, or they're only furries online, of course. There is no cost and barrier to being a furry.
Aren't they also crazy hot, the furry costumes?
I
I want to imagine
imagine.
they're quite warm. Yeah.
Uh,
You could
I
just get a
think
cheap onesie that resembles your fursona. And then
true.
you get to explain why you always wear a penguin onesie or whatever.
Mm.
And instead of looking like a weird furry, you would look like a weird person wearing a very cute onesie.
Never had. I like those onesies where it's like cat or something.
Oh
Like,
yeah, my persona would have to be a Sphinx cat just for the comfort level.
yeah.
Like I can't have
So
fur.
you walk
I can't.
around wearing basically a giant skin suit. You would get arrested so
Yeah,
fast and sent to
a
your
skin
hospital.
suit and little ears.
There would be so many calls to the police. There's a guy here. He's wearing a skin suit.
A flesh-colored skin suit with little ears.
It,
Oh my goodness.
it's a really giant raw chicken walking around. That's the joke about Sphinx cats. That, that they look like raw chickens.
Hello, Isaiah.
Hey, I'm only now. Hey guys, how's it going? So I can't stay long because I'm actually in Georgia with working with a film, like an independent film.
Nice.
Oh,
So
nice.
I can't stay long, but I just came to just say how's it going, and I just want to just peek my head in for a quick bed.
Yeah.
I overslept. That's the unofficial producer of this like show. I overslept. I have alarms. I must have slept through them. And yet like Friday morning, I instead of like going to sleep at all on Friday and Thursday night, I didn't. I just like stay up all night on Thursday night, and because I can't trust myself to be able to like get out of bed and get to work in time to get to work before 9 a.m. for like a training.
Oh
Yeah,
God. How you've been able to do that? I can't do that anymore. I will die if I try to pull an all-nighter at my age.
I don't know how am I able to pull it all nighter because yeah, I seem to recover well because like I did I was there was a time where I did and during the day, yeah, but once
Oh, it's
like
really easy to
I
pull
got
an
my second
all-nighter if you
wind,
don't care about going to sleep at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, it's just like I still managed to like wake up at a reasonable time like yesterday as well because like I went to work yesterday at like and I got to work at like 10 a.m. then too for like my overtime and time. But then like yeah, I don't know how I was able I'm able to do it. And yet like I think like well, I didn't like it wasn't successful today. I overslept. But again, fucking springs forward. No way, no way. That's why it was suddenly 3 a.m. I was up
Mm-hmm.
until 2 a.m. and that became 3 a.m. Then it's like, okay, I better stop playing Fortnite and go to bed.
And
So
then
I
you
had
sent
no
a thing
excuse
to the
there
group
either.
chat at 4 a.m. So.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So that's
So
how
yeah,
I'm. Yeah, so that's how I am.
so gotta run. So
Yep. Where I
Oh,
say,
Izzy.
Have a good time.
Don't get arrested. It's Georgia.
true.
I don't know if it's significantly worse than Florida, though, as far as arrest precautions and
Well, I mean, let's
being not
see.
white.
And the Satan.
In Florida, a guy killed a teenager for walking while black, and he got away with it. In Georgia, 3 men killed a grown man for walking while black, and they went to prison. Of course, that was like
Yes.
15 years
Oh,
apart.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we lost
Yeah,
it
yeah,
there. But,
Yes.
there we
So hello. Now I'm seeing live chat. Yes, I'm seeing live chat. Hello, Opsona Doc. Hello, David. Hello, EMC, and hello, Phoenix. As well. Hello, Cydia. How are all you? Because I didn't get a chance to ask that before.
I am
They're
also
talking about
tired.
Bezos obviously needs a Béarnaise. That's what Sauce will need. when we eat bezos.
Ooh, yeah,
Let's have some
that works out
berries.
good.
And maybe a white wine reduction.
Isn't it like a white wine sauce a bit bougie?
That's why it's appropriate.
I don't know. That's maybe me. I always thought it's always like red wine with red meat, or it's like humans white meat because we're just like pigs.
I don't know. I will have to ask a cannibal sometime.
Yeah.
My understanding is like meat derivative, like the things that separate it. It tends to go more towards dark meat. However, weirdly enough, flavor most cuts of human meat taste similar to pig cuts.
Let's see, I'm googling it right now. Keenan, I don't know who that is, recommends a Pinot Noir for the cheeks, a big Syrah for the tongue, and beer for the nose and lips. This is a Gizmodo article.
Back in the early days of the internet, there was this. I don't know if it was a hoax or if it was a real product, but you could get tofu that was human flavored.
I would.
Mm.
He had something negative to say about what's his name, Hannibal Lecter. I would personally avoid this as the Chianti might be a little too light for the fattiness of the liver. A Barolo would be a much better choice of Italian wine.
Oh my goodness.
And then
The
links over to the HuffPo article.
not only could you get human flavored what do you call it, tofu, but the service
I'm going to check
actually
the chat and make sure that we're not going too far with this. Okay, nobody seems to be complaining so far. I'm gonna go ahead
the
and
what do you
share
call
the
it, that you could actually send your own or a person you are close enough to have access to their sweat. You could send that in and actually have it flavored like a particular person.
Oh dear lord! Stop
Stop
talking.
Okay.
Stop talking now.
Okay, we're going to weird territories here, and I thought it was like weird enough that like a Twitch streamer was selling her bathwater.
No, that's
This
perfectly normal.
honestly at this point, I know that no, it's like I was going to share something. Nope, I don't want to share that because like I'll tell you this. There's been some very strange requests that sex workers had to like perform. Um, the bodily functions that they were asked to like store and then give to others. It's just like again not going to go any further.
Oh, I think I read that on Reddit. But
Hmm. I mean, it is the internet. It sounds like, but then I've heard they called into like love line one time a long time ago, and it's just so it's plausible that there are people among us that walk and that sometimes will order that kind of service from a sex worker, and it's just like again, all the sex workers has to do is a normal bodily function and then store it.
it's the story. No, shut up, line. Shut up.
Oh my goodness.
For everyone's sake, I'm saying
But can you
it
really
for
store a
evening.
fart effectively?
Mythbusters have done that. They have stored a flat test because like it's visible in the water. So then they had to like figure out a way to so they can while it's in the water, then like force it through like a someplace and then like be able to contain it where you can contain gas as well. They needed to do all sorts of experiments on like what is in a flatus, and they have to use the word flatus because apparently fart is offensive to say. Well, in fact, they would
But
censor
fart
it. You can't
sounds
say
funnier.
fart. Well,
Didn't
yeah, I agree. Fart sounds funnier.
didn't Nile Red, if you know that YouTuber, make like the order of bowel movements once on his channel? He's like this chemistry YouTuber who makes all sorts of like weird substances.
Breast milk would probably be a good way to make money, except for the fact that it would also be the most taxing to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
that's pretty much any woman who's
I agree.
had
Yes.
the misfortune to give birth and then breastfeed. You lose a lot of weight because you're basically doing the second half of the pregnancy, and that's where that goes. But it is very metabolically taxing. So you'd be better off selling sweat or other fluids.
Mm-hmm.
Or just use panties.
Yes. That is true. There are those vending machines in Japan. That's true. Even the Japanese are just like, yeah,
We're leaning into it at
we
this
are
point.
ashamed. Mhm.
Oh yeah, my story of why I'm tired.
Yes.
So yesterday, well, okay, let's begin it. Was yesterday? Yesterday was Saturday. Okay,
Yeah.
so Friday, I knew that I had a mandatory overtime for Saturday AM.
Mm-hmm.
I had contacted somebody on a group that we have set up as fellow employees that was willing to take it, or at least said they were willing to take it. And apparently, when I looked back over the page, she had also agreed to somebody else's.
Mm.
So, at like, because forcing has been so bad, I waited until 11 o'clock to call in my end, even though I got a message from her saying that she had already called in her end.
Mm-hmm.
So, apparently, scheduling was too busy after 11 o'clock, and they close at 11:30. So I called from 11 to 11:30 and didn't get anybody. So I was like, well, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't just leave a message because they don't accept that, because of course they don't. So I woke up at 5 a.m. when they opened up, and I called in. Had to wait another 15 minutes to get a hold of them because everyone calls in at 5 a.m. because even though we're a 24-hour facility, scheduling isn't open between 11:30 and 5. Anywho, so I finally get a hold of them, and they're like, well, we only have one person by that name, like even that first name, and they're listed for this other person. So I'm sorry, you have to come or you have to be in to work in an hour and 10 minutes. Enjoy that.
I kind of get the feeling that you didn't enjoy that.
No. Thankfully, it was actually a pretty chill and real, not stressful day, but which is good because I did not have any sort of emotional reserves, and I would not have been therapeutic to patients had they been misbehaving too much. It would have been a difficult day to be calm and considerate to people that were acting up, but thankfully everyone was pretty good.
That's good. Almost reminds me of the time, but this time it was just like, no, Saturday's my day off. They're taking the day off. It's a scheduled day off. Saturday's the day off. Not working. I was asked to come in on graveyard shift. Why do you want me to come in graveyard shift? The guy's doing graveyard shift is in the hospital right now for heart surgery. It's like, well, okay, that's a legitimate reason for suddenly you need someone to cover the graveyard shift. Sure thing. Yes, I'll cover the graveyard shift. I know them before.
Like emergency heart surgery, or your work just has real bad planning?
Yes, no. It was kind of like an emergency.
Okay.
Yeah.
That at least is kind of acceptable. In theory, they should have enough people that are willing to work overtime, and have that planned. But no place does because what's the
just in time delivery, something like that.
Just in time scheduling.
Yes,
sort of. Like you can't have extra people. You can't have any more people than you physically need at any given time because fuck you.
Well, this one time, I swear the schedule was for me to work just a 4 hour shift between like 12 and 4. But and apparently my manager tried to call me, but when I showed up at 12, I wasn't supposed to show up at 12. I was supposed to show up at 1 and work from 1 to 9. So it's just like I did not realize that the time changed. I was already there, so I was so stay there to like at noon and work till 9 as I agreed. I was still bitter about that. But then like on that day, I was like I already agreed to work on graveyard. But then I woke up to my phone call, answer the phone. That's a mistake. No, Jonathan, I know that you're coming in on like a graveyard. Can you also cover the swing shift too? Why the hell do you want me to work 17 hours and we cover the swing shift as well? The person working swing shift has a death in the family. It's like,
Oh my god, that's sad.
so I agreed to work the swing shift well, work 17 hours that day.
Did you get extra compensation for that, or
No, just a normal like a time and a half or overtime pay over 40 hours. And also like there's also a thing where it's just like working on late night hours. I actually don't know what those hours are. I know that for a graveyard shift it is like for sure that I'm wearing work graveyard shift I get paid 8 late night hours, which just means an extra 50 cents an hour.
I'll say I know exactly when those times are, which is why on paper I always take my break between 5:30 and 6 because the shift differential starts at 6 p.m.
Yep. Oh,
Let's see,
yeah.
what else happened this week?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
honestly,
so
I thought
busy
we
with
weren't doing.
work, I don't know any of the details of like things that happened in news.
And I've been like following the news and listening to the news, but it's like nine
Have you
hours
been stalking
between
the
like
news? Don't do that.
um
wa- was it this week or last week that Elon Musk? No, that
This
was
other
last week. Elon Musk did something stupid, but like he
Elon
told
Musk did
that.
something stupid? I find that hard to believe.
I was say that's not even news anymore.
He,
Oh, but yeah, the particular thing I actually do know about this. Oh my God, it's so good. the
Elon Musk is planning a Texas utopia. He's going to build his own town.
no the well that's amusing too, but the he had a contractor that he fired without firing or HR letting them know that they had fired, and that person contacted him because he just put a post on Twitter that got enough attention.
yes, I heard about that
Ugh.
one.
Oh my God, it's so much. The whole story is so extra.
just
It's it's like again, like I already mentioned, it's like for some reason I tweeted too much in a single day, and I found out no, there is actually a daily limit. That's like, but it's like 24,000 tweets or something like that. Oh, but like Eli, you mentioned like this was last month, I think. Oh yeah, there was like a engineering problem with this site because like people were getting the error that you're posting too much on Twitter. It's like, oh, that's what happened. Incompetence.
yeah, but but
See, he's saying that they need to free one of the January 6 guys.
oh
Of
god,
course he's saying that.
Elon Musk's
it,
Twitter
it,
feed is just a pile of stupid.
That does remind me of what's going on in the latest news that I've been hearing. I have been catching up, or I have been like listening to my podcast now that I'm working again, and like hearing the latest stuff is where that like the Dominion voting the company Dominion that behind the voting electronic voting systems as it were is suing Fox News for defamation as it were. And like as rightfully so, because like even Rupert Murdoch said like, oh yeah, Musk as ableist shock, yes, exactly. And Mr. All hell is breaking loose in the UK. A sports presenter on the BBC tweeted something nasty about the government policy. His colleagues had been on an unofficial strike. There's also a lot of strikes that is happening in the UK, from what I heard. The nurses strikes, the railway strikes, as it were, or at least your the railway strikes are like it seem to be working. While it's like here in the US, Biden put a stop to ours, and then like we've been having derailments happen too. Two more like this past week or so, like since the one in East Palestine, in
It's
Palestine,
almost
Ohio.
like the railroad workers had a rail works work. Anyway, it's
Mhm.
almost like they had a point.
Yes, yeah. No, they seriously have like it's not about the money. It's about like that they have no vacation time, no sick time, no like time to like see their family at all, and they're just like because we don't talk about it, because we don't notice it, and because like we don't know about it until the railroad workers strike, and rightfully so. That's like, wait a minute, what? You don't get any like free time? They're like, no, we don't. Oh, no time to just see their families when they have to pull that stuff. And it's like it's some one of the other derailments that happened recently is just not a big major one, because like there has been need for a controlled burn, even though there's probably were some like terrible like things that like got derailed in the train car. Is all because of like it was Norfolk Southern again who was like behind like the big major one in East Palestine, Ohio. And but then it's like, oh, and again, listening into like the Marks and Nels reporting on this, it's where it's like it's the same classic thing where it's just like, oh yeah, there's like precautions that they could take to in order to prevent how that particular derailment in East Palestine happened, but like Norfolk Southern and the other like railway companies, all privately owned, mind you, again,
Mhm.
of course, lobby Congress to like stop any implementations of like further safety on the railways, on trains, as it were, to prevent these kind of derailments. Because there was like a notification, like, no, this brake is not working, as it were. But it was like at train 100 out of a 300 train, a 300 car train, as it were. So, yeah. Um, yeah, but like a January 6th thing is like not only is like Dominion like is suing Fox News, and Rupert Murdoch admitted that like, oh yeah, but we're aware that like what they were saying is like they weren't given time on spent do inspection on the rails either. Yes, exactly, EMC. Um, not only is like the Rupert Murdoch knew that like promoting the election deniers would have been like lying essentially. It wasn't, but he said it wasn't red or blue, it was green, it was for the money, because like that was like of course it's
Mhm.
always for the money. But
Well,
also like
obviously, this means that we need to rise up with a violent. With a hammer.
Yeah.
thank you so severance itself and not doing it, so that's
Uh,
terrorism, as it were.
It-
the
uh
but yeah, the texts and the emails
mm,
and the stuff that are coming out because of that court case
mhm.
are so good. Oh,
Yeah.
just oh, I love it when we get to see their whole ass.
Yeah. I mean, even like Eric Prince got like info on like Biden's like ads that was going to be aired, or even like talking points for debates and stuff like that. So it's like,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like one of those things. Like, well, if that's not illegal, we should work to make that illegal.
yeah. Well, I hope that will work to make it illegal here in this country. But then
No,
but
I think that'll
also
fix
was
itself, and it'll sort itself out in payroll once they make elections illegal.
this you know what? Yeah, that is possible, honestly. But then it's like also like the Speaker of the House was like giving intel to like Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson is continuing to spread the lie in the myth that like it was not an insurrection, it was just a tour, and so
Yeah, that's what
there's
Elon Musk was
that.
tweeting.
Yeah, exactly.
he-
Oh, funny enough, like I got like an advertisement like last night. No, that's like again. I open up my Firefox. Here's a bunch of like articles you're interested in read. Hey, the average age, average amount for retirement is like such and such, and I'm just like, Oh, it's a sponsored article. I see. I forgot to know what the title was because I didn't click on it. And I'm just like, retirement? Do you really think I can retire?
Oh,
I'm
I
not even.
rem- I
Are you
remember in
telling
high
me
school
somebody
when we
says
did a
something stupid instead of talking about football? Is that what's going on here, Mithril? A sportsman
I
on the
remember
BBC
I
tweeted
remember when I
something
was
nasty about a government policy, and his colleagues have been on an unofficial strike.
I already read that out loud.
uh, I remember when I was in high school and we did a tour of the state capitol, and
Mhm.
we got to sit on the assemblyman's desk and put our feet up on there
Mhm.
and steal the governor's podium.
Mhm.
Oh, it was a great time.
It was just a fun tour.
Was there?
No,
No,
no, that was a joke.
Mhm.
Oh, I see. They're not on strike because he said something stupid. They're on strike because he got suspended after criticizing a Tory policy. Okay, that's much better.
Mm.
Mhm.
oh,
I
oh,
mean,
hear about the thing about uh, Sophie from Mars, and and there was this lady in a newspaper who wrote about a trans woman who had supposedly said to her, "Oh, they were in a bathroom and there were no hand towels to dry their hands on." And then she was standing next to this trans woman, and the trans woman had supposedly said, "Oh, I just dry my hands on my penis." But what the
Of all
trans
the
woman
things that
really,
didn't happen, this didn't happen the most.
yeah,
mhm.
but what the trans woman had really said, because it was, "Oh, I just dry my hand on my jeans."
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, that I heard about this. Yeah.
this
And
was
it's just with again Turf Island being still Turf Island.
and, and it's just like that's such a weird thing to make up. Why are you thinking about penises? You're the one who's thinking about penises. It's not the trans. It it's like it's in your head, lady.
Bigots are the worst
Again,
at everything. Every.
again, they thus protest too much, as it were. It's like they're the ones that are most concerned about like what's in our pants. And it's like, what am I? The evil? No, what gender are you? Oh, the devil. Oh no, what's in your pants? Doom.
Doom.
So
What's in your pant, Cthulhu?
yes.
Yeah,
And that can like mean in so many different like ways.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree, Mytho. Trans folks think nothing about like penises. It's just like it's just there. It's like, you don't. And it's like more. And it's like many anti-trans person can tell you, just like you don't go up to a sick person. How's your surgery? How's that going? It's just like I don't know the business of like anyone's like genitals at all because like it's rude. Or even if someone shares that, like in like Liar, when he has to tell the truth. Hey, how's it hanging? He would say short, trivial, and always left, which is a great response to that question too. When you're honest about it, it's kind of like, do you really want to know while you ask?
Yeah.
Uh, so see.
So yeah. But you know, we also have that annoying movement in my country now,
Mhm.
and it's just like, why do we have to import all the crappy things from
Mhm.
from from like other countries? It's just like, can't we why can't we import something awesome?
Because
But
there
Mhm.
I
isn't
can't
actually
think of,
anything awesome out there except Greta Thunberg.
yeah, I can't think of something awesome.
uh,
Oh, and Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That came from Japan. That was like, yeah, that was exported to the world. Yes. Osman Dark says that reminds me of the time someone said that they saw some things down there when my camera was chest high and above. So I essentially said, "Wait, why do you have secret cameras looking for that in my room?" It's these are the kind of people that will just like watch an episode of the old like reality show Survivor and just go look at timestamp right here at this exact second. You can probably see a bit of like this guy's hairy balls because it was poking out of like his drawers, as it were. This is smuck. This should be taken off the show. No, you were painstakingly coming through the entire hour-long footage of this reality TV show to try to look for someone's hairy balls. You're the one that's like is focused on smut so much.
And let's face it, outside of very specific context, genitals are not sexy.
Yes, I agree. Honestly,
They're like a
it's
beautiful flower that somebody stepped on.
I remember the show Red Dwarf when the robot character Crichton becomes human. He says he asks David Lister, "Is that normal? What? Take a picture of it and show it to your mates? No, that's not. No. What that looks like? Well, yeah, it looks normal. What? It's God of all the things like all the looks that God chose. He chose that look, the last chicken in the shop look."
Reminds me of an episode of Adam Ruins Everything when he talks about circumcision.
Oh yeah.
And
should see that
some
episode.
guy says that if you do it or don't do it, it makes your dick look weird, one way or the other. And so he just finds a group of women who are sitting outside, and he shows up with a big easel. It's like one of them is a circumcised penis. And he says, "Does this look weird?" Yes. Flips it to the other one, to an uncircumcised. "Does this look weird?" "Yeah, dicks look weird."
Be a weird circumstance where it would be wrong to not like let them know ahead of time. It's like, okay, so we're gonna do a study. I'm gonna show you a couple of pictures of penises. I'm very sorry.
It's like the worst kind of unsolicited dick pic. This is giant and in person.
Like this isn't sexual or anything. Neither of these are my penis. I don't want you to rate them based on
I'm pretty
any
sure that they were friends of his
criteria.
that he got to participate. Or maybe he hired them. He might have been making enough money off his thing to do that. Off his show, not his penis.
I certainly did like watch more of like and come over Emerald's and things because like as we said before, it's just like maybe he's like quite close to actually diagnosing the problem is of capitalism, or like he definitely would say.
Oh yeah, if you watch his if like on the show they stop shy of that.
Yeah, I figure as much.
The stuff sense. If you see him in podcasts or interviews, he knows. He's aware. It's just on the show they weren't allowed to take that last step.
It's just like I think John Oliver himself was just like stopped shy of simply capitalism. But I know that on the show he's on like a show produced by HBO, so they would not like say it's capitalism's fault. It's like these individual CEOs' fault, as it were.
It's hard to imagine somebody getting that close and not mentally taking that step unless they're either, trying to shunt it off, being like, and the problem is the Jews.
Yeah, it's either you become a communist or you become a fascist.
True. Yeah. Let's see.
And that's why there's no difference between them, kids. You should be a capitalist American.
I remember something my dad told me once about my grandfather, where now I'm thinking, oh shit, because he said, "Oh, but your grandfather didn't believe in capitalism, but he didn't believe in communism either. No, he believed in the third way." And I'm like,
"Oh no!"
Okay.
Which third way? There's been a few.
Third positionist, as it were. Third
Yeah,
positionist. It's like
it's just like, but it would explain a lot of things about my dad, to be honest. Because my
Yeah,
but
third way,
when,
generally speaking, is supposed to be a synthesis of left wing and right wing policies. So somehow they combine capitalism with anti capitalism to make
yeah,
just a right wing policy called capitalism.
yeah, yeah, and it's my dad is intelligent in some ways, but the conclusions he sometimes draws are like, what the hell are you talking about? There was one time where he said, "Oh, but the Muslims will ban church bells one day," and I'm like, "How do you know they will ban church bells?" But he said, "Oh, I just know they will ban church bells," and it's just like, I've never heard that. It's just like, what are you talking about?
That'd be such a weird. I like even in a place where that was the state religion, unless they're just going to ban the church, it'd be really weird for them to ban church bells.
Yeah, it would just feel like just. But it's also like I've heard atheists wants to ban church bells in my country because they're noisy.
I mean, a noise complaint at least like that I can see is like a legitimate complaint that people can have for church bells as well. But then it's just like you have to like basically get a lot enough people to say no, we don't like this. Let's get rid
Yeah,
of
I
this.
could, I could, I could actually see one of those. We will do everything. We'll do everything we can to stamp out any kind of special treatment that churches get. Being like, well, this is enough decibels that there should be noise complaints on this. We're going to file a noise complaint on this.
Yeah,
And also,
and
there's been enough rape.
Like the church shouldn't have an exception.
yeah,
There's been enough rape.
I think that
but
there shouldn't be like a three strikes and you're out kind of policy when it comes to serial rape.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we should
yeah.
start banning churches.
yeah, and but also what's frustrating is that, oh, he's like, oh, Muslims are so bad, they're so fundamentalist. But when I've been trying to tell him about how bad sort of what's happening in the United States with Christianity,
Mhm.
we like sliding into something that's on par or even worse than like fundamentalist
Mhm.
Islam. It's
See,
like
like we
he's like,
actually
oh,
know what it was like when Muslims were in control of places where other religions existed, and they taxed them a bit and otherwise left them alone.
Mhm.
Whereas when the Christians were in charge, they tended to commit genocides.
Mhm.
It's the pot calling the kitchen black.
yeah, it really is.
Well, and the thing is that uh, it wasn't. It's nothing to do with the specific religion. It's just that cultures that, although they have a guiding religious force, but just aren't theocracies,
Mhm.
that aren't autocratic,
Mhm.
still are just fine. But you're when you have very few people in charge, and those people think that the most important thing is their religion,
Mhm.
those people make hell for everyone else.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's but it's really fucking scary seeing people who were all up in the up in the like they were so vigilant about like religions other than Christianity doing
Mhm.
things are so passive when it comes to Christianity. It's
No, because it's
I know
okay when I
why.
do it.
but it's disturbing. Tell them
Mhm.
that they can't
Mhm.
the same thing. See that it's a threat to everyone's freedom, and
Mhm.
it's like I have no beef with individual Christianity. I have a problem when it gets enforced on everyone else, like like some people want to do in the United States.
Mhm.
It's really scary.
I
What
mean, hell.
what is this list of names you put up? I don't get the
That is from a Japanese video game. It was a baseball game, I think, like the
Yeah.
early Nintendo era. And
Oh,
that
that's
is
a
basically
roster
what Japanese
of
think.
very
They're just
American
making
names.
random American sounding names. Sleeve McDykel, Onsen Sweeney,
McScarf.
Daryl Archideld,
Scarf?
Anatoly Smorin, Ray
Uh,
McSriff,
I mean,
Captain Alan Mixon.
it's always so fun to see cultural appropriation from the other side.
mhm. I
Willie
mean, speaking of
Dustus.
Japan, it just look like Punch Out or like Punch Out for the Wii. Even for their own culture, like Hypno. I forgot the guy's name. He was Japanese. He had like candles, and every time you punch him, it, like sushi comes out. That's the word.
Oh, shoot, who? Hmm.
Yeah, I forgot the name of the roster.
Mike
That's
I
all
keep
I'm looking for.
thinking.
Dwight
I keep
Portugal.
thinking.
Sorry, I'll stop.
I can just look it up. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Gonna bother me if I don't look it up.
Yeah, it's going to bother me. So I'm looking it up right now. But like, the Christianity is fine. Christian fascism is bad. Harmful, like manipulative organization using religion as a shield is bad. Yeah, funny enough, like
Piston Honda
Pitts and Honda. Yeah,
was the Japanese.
yeah, the Chinese character in like Punch Out and Super and Punch Out Wii. He wasn't in Super Punch Out though. Um, but like, hey, but that reminded me of like I was watching a stream last night and like they were bringing up this like one church, and it's like you know what? Yeah, we haven't heard much about the Westboro Baptist Church like in some time, but that's
Didn't
because
the
like basically
patriarch die, and therefore
that will explain why we haven't heard of them in recent years. Is I have to like look it up if that's the truth of the Westboro Baptist Church. Um,
sorry, Elon Musk, I'm no longer going to be looking at your Twitter feed.
mhm.
Instead, I'm looking up the Westboro Baptist Church. Wow,
Never saw
I
him for the
forgot that
Westboro
that was
Baptist
the
Church.
name of their webpage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to the Wikipedia article instead.
Oh yeah, that's the name of the page. God hates. Yeah. Yes. Please check to see if this connection is secure. Why the hell am I doing that? You know, I'm not. No, I'm not going to look at this side. I'm not going to verify how I'm human to this like group.
I like
Uh,
their Wikipedia article. You scroll down just a little bit. It says part of a series on Islamophobia, part of a series on anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
oddly enough,
there,
it doesn't
there.
have it as part of a series on homophobia.
yeah.
Yeah.
There,
Let's see, is Fred
there,
Phelps
there,
still alive?
Fuck.
Nope, he died.
there are you
Nearly 9 years
human
ago.
test.
Mm.
There,
Oh, it is
there
almost the
are you
anniversary of
human
the death of
test.
Fred Phelps.
Oh,
Hello,
Nice.
hello, Letourneau. How you doing?
Say their websites. Are you human test is asking if people who are LGBT plus are humans that require all human rights, and if you say yes, you are human and you don't get to go on the site.
yeah.
This site is only for monsters. No humans allowed here.
That makes sense at least.
Yeah.
But I guess when you think about it, it's like, well, the reason why we don't hear much about the Westboro Baptist Church recently now is because, like, well, the Togolkins now have been parroting most of their talking points already.
At its peak, the group was able to picket roughly 15 churches a day.
Ooh.
Do these people not have jobs?
No,
Apparently not. Yeah.
their job was to pick it. I've heard that they. I don't know how. I wonder how they made money. If they made money from donations to the church, they probably did, because that's how churches make money is from donations.
They're lucrative. God hates what do you call it? Shirt line.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
God hates figs.
yeah. And and that was such a culture shock. Also, when I got the internet as a teenager and discovered American sort of fundamentalist Christianity, because that's not the Christianity I grew up with. Our
Nope.
in Denmark is like butterflies and rainbows and like, oh, Jesus is your best friend, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then it's just like like American Christianity, die in a fire, sinner.
You know
Is
what?
that-
You know what's really weird? I went to Catholic schools until I was in 8th grade, and I was still surprised by how everything phobic Christianity in the United States was. Because like as much as we were weird and we had weird traditions like women can't be priests, you know,
Yeah.
the rhetoric
Priests
just
cannot
wasn't there.
get married, but they can do things to children.
I mean, that was definitely not a thing that was like
I mean, they just don't publicize.
like
those
that's
things.
not a public policy.
Yes.
That's just an implicit policy because they don't punish people that are
They
caught
don't
doing
put it all out there on the
Yes.
table, except behind closed doors.
So Literata, what happened to my face? Me. I would get like a pimple there, and then I pick at it, and then break it open, and a nervous habit can instantly pick at it again, and you're not there. No one's there to like tell me to stop doing that.
Stop
And
doing
then I'll be playing Fortnite. I'll be
doing
playing
that.
Fortnite. Hate my.
You need
I play.
you 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 need a helmet with spikes on it. So every
But now just take the helmet off and then do this, as it were. But
then his hands would be filled with holes.
The helmet with spikes on would be bad because I would like hit myself like this after they're like doing poorly in Fortnite, as it were. Because no, I hate myself when I'm doing poorly in Fortnite, as it were. Because every time I die, when like I could have like killed the person, and it's just like I just hate myself. No, I could have killed that person, but I didn't.
I'm
In
sorry,
Fortnite, literally in Fortnite as well.
I'm laughing at my the joke that I had in my head is putting up your hands and they're just covered in holes all over, being like, "I'm your new Jesus."
I like him too.
That's why it's so funny. Oh shit!
I am better than that guy named Jesus. I can walk on the water when it freezes.
Hey, in a month it will be Easter.
And hey, guess who else can rise on a Sunday? This sumbitch.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that's right, Menthol. There was a satanic panic over Dungeons and Dragons, and like raise your stuff.
There's
Like,
always a satanic panic. It's just, what is the satanic panic focusing on this year? Right now,
Yeah.
it's trans kids. A few years ago, it was ping pong. Comet Ping Pong, the pizza place.
oh yes,
But it's all just an ancient anti-Semitic thing. That's all it's ever been.
it's I would like to say it's weird, but I know it's not. I know it's inherent actually.
With so much of right-wing ideology being projection, it just makes you wonder if they're drinking kids' blood.
No, but they are having sex with them. Well,
It's like,
Yeah.
like that's a thing that they're doing, and not and just no one's found out yet.
Okay, again, listen. Yes, Catholics, they really believe that it's the blood of Christ when they're drinking that terrible, terrible wine. And some, yes, no, some of them will actually believe that wine turns into blood when they reach their mouth and for transubstantiation. And all the kneeling and bowing and standing and sitting and kneeling and bowing and standing and sitting. It's like, I'm glad I don't go to church anymore because, like,
genuflect.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't remember that. I remember like in catechism class that it was all about the ritual and the symbolism that
Mm-hmm.
that in your mind, like spiritually it was the same,
Mm-hmm.
but no one like taught or like, maybe there are more traditionalist Catholic churches that were all about that, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't like all of the like when people say that, like I don't know if that's true or if just I didn't experience the same Catholic church that you did.
No,
Probably you
you
did not
didn't. You
experience
weren't a
the
very
Catholic.
pretty child, so they left you alone.
Oh,
Now it's true at like
I was adorable before I got fat.
now if you go to Catholic schools, my mom grew up in the Catholic schools, and she is left-handed, but has to write right-handed. She was forced to like write right-handed growing up, with those nuns and their rulers and something like that. That's not limited to just like a Catholic school though, because like
Mhm.
Leonard Quinn has like raised Seventh-day Adventists, and that was true there for their experience as well. But like,
Oh, it was true in
yeah,
public
apparently,
schools until like the 50s.
oh yeah, there's that. But the church's reason for that is because the devil's left-handed.
Mhm.
So there's like my young brother's left-handed. That's just like a coincidence. Um, let's see. You're right, Mister. But D&D is actually owned by one of the Devil Prince. So yeah, I guess there's that too. But D&D's for everyone. Come on. And Letron also said, my new boyfriend is Muslim. He likes picking fights with Zayton extends,
Christians.
and I'm having, yeah, and I'm having fun reading him. Yeah. That's true, Osman and Dark. They focus too much on girls and puberty sometimes. Yeah, exactly. And Mirthel's like, sometimes? Mhm.
Yeah, you know the thing where dads get their daughters' promise rings? Like
Oh,
I own your
I know
vagina
about.
officially until I hand you over to someone else.
Oof.
Mm,
Creepy as fuck.
I have never heard of that. That is the grossest goddamn thing.
Mhm.
yeah.
But isn't isn't I've heard that there's several states in America where child marriage is legal.
Oh yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And a
I mean,
lot
they
of them
usually
are
have
the
to
same
be 12
states.
years old or older, but yes.
They still need permission from the parents, though. But like, no, yeah, it's still legal. It's and yet like if the like maybe that's the only time where it's like okay for like an adult to have sex with a child if they're married, and just like this
Child marriage
that's
is currently
that
legal in 43 states.
mm, that was way too more than I thought, but like I'm still not surprised.
Um,
America,
Delaware,
everyone, the USA,
Massachusetts,
everyone.
Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island have all set the minimum age at 18, and they've eliminated all exceptions. Those are the only seven. 20 states do not require any minimum age for marriage, so long as there are parental or judicial waiver.
Mm,
These
Hmm.
photos
What?
are upsetting.
yes. Uh, yeah, and let her know. Yeah,
Let's
you must.
see. Wisconsin is 16 with parents' consent.
Washington State. Because again, like in Washington State, like
Oh, specifically one parent. That's interesting.
yep, child marriage laws is shows up. Must be at least 17 to get married. 18 to without parents' consent, but like a minor under 17 may obtain a license after petition in the court in special circumstances. Um, that's what the first church, no, those like these, yeah, this is from the statute of Washington state law. Okay, there's only $64 for a marriage license. Okay,
I can I can see the argument if you go through the process of being legally emancipated or something.
yeah.
Like maybe at 17, but anything before that is
Yeah, so uh,
like
Minnesota's kind of
I still think it's a little icky, but it's the sort of thing it's like, you know what? If you can prove to a court that you can take care of yourself, you could probably be an adult. That's fine. But
yeah is go ahead, Ellie.
It's just like 12-year old getting married is just like, ooh.
Well, I
Yeah,
looked
I
it up,
agree.
yeah.
and very, very few child marriages involve somebody
Yeah.
that young. Let's see.
Mhm.
According to data for child marriages from 2000 to 2015, 2/3 of the children were 17 years old, 29% 16, 4% 15, less than 1% below the age of 14 and under. There were 51 13-year-olds in that period and 6 12-year-olds.
Mm.
Still 15-year-olds.
Yeah, I agree.
In
Yeah,
Alabama, a 74-year-old man married a 14-year-old girl, though the state has since raised its minimum age to 16.
mhm.
Holy shit. According to
I-
Unchained at Last, the youngest girls to marry in 2000 to 2010 were 3 10-year-old girls in Tennessee who married men aged 24, 25, and 31. The youngest boy to marry was an 11-year-old, also in Tennessee, who married a 27-year-old woman in 2006.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's disturbing as hell.
Yeah, it is disturbing as hell. So, and let's see, catch up with like a chat to like, yeah, that's right. I like your comment that your Muslim boyfriend would say to like those Christians. It's like, Jesus was a Jew, right? He was brown under meat. Yeah, that's very true. Let's see. Oh, also, Jesus was like at the right hand of like his father for a reason. Because like fan devil sort of thing too. And also in the dark. Minnesota's kind of okay some of the time. Not if you're not white though. Yeah, exactly. Linequin has also like mentioned that before. I think they grew up in the Midwest area, but they did spend a lot of time with Nas as well. In Minnesota too. Had to leave Minnesota because again, one time they were in the office and handed the resume, and then her resume just got ripped up in front of her, saying that we don't hire your kind here. She's trans, and so yeah. Hi, Willis, how are you doing? Um, let's
Yeah,
see.
Minnesota is okay some of the time, but yeah, uh, Tim
Oof.
Rice, I want to say, anti-racism activist, talks about how he went to Minnesota, and the Minnesota people are like, no, no, we don't have a problem with racism. I don't know why you're here to talk about this. And and then he has to, it's like, we're nice. We're Minnesota nice. That's how we do. We're not racist. And then he asked a brown person, but how do you feel about Minnesota nice? He said, Minnesota nice is killing us because it means we can't talk about this shit. They deflect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The what do you call it? It's almost like the Canadian sorry, where it's not a sincere nice. It's a shield to avoid social awkwardness.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
I agree.
if you just apologize for the smallest thing, it doesn't actually matter whether or not you feel bad for doing the thing. You
Mm.
leave the impression that you do. Same
Oh,
with
oh, I'm really sorry about all those mass graves, eh?
Yeah, I
We don't
heard
have a
people.
problem with racism. That's the United States. Don't look over there. Don't look over there.
Yeah, I heard about the problems in like with Minneapolis and like in middle school and stuff like that. There was something that's happened recently that got in the news about like I think like indigenous people were like wanting like voter representation or something like that. I had to follow up. Many people like ask why would a woman wear a hijab, burqa, etc. if they weren't forced to. Maybe they find it cute and it is or no, no, yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's
That's
why.
what hijab originally was. The headscarf was just a
Yeah.
way to. It was just hair care. They didn't have
Yeah.
shampoo. So during the
Like
day, you
my
put your hair up in
I
braids or a bun or something. You cover it with a scarf. At night, you comb it out, and it keeps your hair clean and protected. That's all. And then you get it in a nice cloth, and it's made of silk. It
maybe
has a
your
pretty
forehead
pattern
has a
on it or
lot of
something.
angry red pimples on it.
Oh, maybe I should have used like a bandana for my
Yeah,
forehead.
yeah. Maybe your forehead has a lot of really red pimples that day, and you don't want to have everyone ask what's up with your head.
any sort of face veiling is illegal in my country. But during COVID, we were all wearing masks, and then I went into a store, and there was a woman in like full niqab, like, uh, and she must have laughed her ass off because it's like now all of us are wearing sort of like
Face coverings, yeah.
face coverings. It was just like
Yeah, but you're doing so racistly. That's the difference.
I am genuinely surprised that that wasn't one of the right's talking points that they're forcing us to wear. Now they're forcing us to wear hijabs.
No, because only the Jews can force you to do something, not the Muslims. I mean, secret Jews forcing people to veil? No, no, no. The secret cabal of Jews is going to be doing something related to circumcision.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Will. Even though it's like it is, I had a friend, and I should say that like I always disagree with this point that like she was for like banning the burqa. I understand her reasons for banning the burqa, and you can have you discriminate the reasons for like saying that the burqa should be banned, and or like the patriarchal reasons behind that, as it were. But like if you do make a law to say we're banning this, you are specifically targeting Muslims, as it were, for that like rule. And I don't want to force people to not wear something either because like that's like kind of similar to forcing someone to wear something as well.
Yeah.
uh right, and besides medical reasons, I agree, hey Willis, as well. Also maybe they don't show like some parts of their bodies and it's not it's no one's fucking business. Yeah, exactly.
And it's also like banning like these kinds of things means that these women don't go anywhere then because
Mhm.
Yeah.
if they're forced to wear something and it's illegal, then it just plays right into men who wants to keep women in the house all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It doesn't actually help, doesn't actually free the women that's trying to
Yeah.
leave.
Hmm.
It doesn't
But they're
help
not trying to
at
free the
all.
women. They're just using them as, let's see, under patriarchy, women's rights are not the goal; they're the ball. I think that's what was good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like what AMC said, when we were talking about like when it's okay to like marry someone as a word child, the marriage laws, the legal marriage is just like a property exchange, and so that tracks. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Why would women wear like a 4-inch heels? They're unforced to. That's the point. Like Leto.
Yeah.
Hey, nope, we don't kink shame here.
To
That's true.
essentiate their legs and ass. That's
Well,
why
if
you wear heels.
headscarves covering your hair was pretty much universal,
Or to feel taller if you're short, I
Mhm.
guess.
Mhm.
but
Be another
headscarves
reason
of
to
any
wear
kind were
heels.
pretty much universal across all of Europe and Asia.
Mhm.
I mean, like I said, it was just hair care. For if you had longer hair, that was how you took care of it and protected it. So long as it's just a scarf and not a particular, I guess, cultural style, you can get any sort of thing and wear it over your hair. And instead, you would just look like a Russian grandma.
Or like a celebrity that's trying to a female celebrity that's like trying to like not like give like it off that she is a female celebrity would like wear a scarf and then this big sunglasses. That's the stereotypical look of like celebrity incognito.
Yeah, just go back and
Yeah.
look at all those classic movies, and you see women with their hair covered because that was just the style. Because that's how you took care of your hair.
Yep. Yeah.
No, sorry,
That-
Julie.
yeah.
No, they wear 4-inch heels because kinks, and they're forced to. That's the only. That's it.
Shut up, John.
Okay, I need you to move, Wesley. There we go.
I don't know if John Brockman has like thanked our patrons, but I'm gonna off the top of my head thank of all of our patrons. It is the patron show. Mehmet, Marty, Flora, Bonrak, Tim, myself, yes, Stat Noise, Aaron, and how the names are scrolling down below, but of course, Joe and Ellie, and I think that's everyone. If I see that I forgot to like say hi to like thank you to someone, then like I'll make sure to say thank you to someone. But thank you to all of our patrons that like you give us money. I really only need like $8 a month for like just Zoom is or but like as we like as John Brockman has said, yeah, we give the and whatever extra money that we don't need, we really don't need over to like Phoenix who always needs it and who was in the chat earlier, and do give like money to Phoenix. I also find her like links as well and post it in the chat. Mm-hmm.
Don't you stay?
I think John Brockman is away from the camera right now, which is why his avatar is
Yes,
like
I stepped away to get some meat because I was hungry.
just straight, dead-eyed, looking at the screen.
the cat is staring at me. No, that happens all the time with like V-Roys and avatars, is where they'll just be perfectly still. So there's Phoenix's links. I'll also provide Joanna's links. Again, only if you have the spare money, as it were. As like people in the past that told me, Tabitha Wolf is like was raising money at one time for her legal name change, and I'll say, yeah, I can help. And when I said I could help on stream, Tabby said, Jonathan, if you give me money, I will berate you for that.
I found out something interesting. Not only does it cost money, but in most states you're actually limited to only changing your name 2 to 3 times in your entire life.
That doesn't
The
surprise
thing
me.
is,
because,
unless
like,
you're doing it for fraudulent purposes, you can call yourself whatever the fuck you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not in my country. You can't. It's to protect children from getting like a really sort of weird name like Frying Pan or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that you're allowed to call yourself Frying Pan. They won't necessarily, and the court will usually recognize these things, names that are unofficial. It's like people with nicknames; they go by, Jack or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not a problem.
My birth name is Jonathan, but I go by John sometimes, and just Jon, not John. And whenever I don't care now. So if someone like calls me Johnny, I don't care. But I would say I don't like being called Johnny. There's always that one guy goes Johnny, and you're like, I just told you I don't like being called Johnny, and yet there you go, you just do it. Yeah, well, it says apparently, according to UK laws, only a person forcibly putting their penis into a vagina is considered rape, and not the opposite, which is bullshit. I agree, and honestly, this is what like men's rights activists don't like get, or like they don't care to know or learn, is that many feminists also like petition for like laws to change to say or force or the opposite way of forcibly they have someone's penis being inserted
the
somewhere
U.S.
else.
is kind of a patchwork. Some say the forcible insertion of anything, which still is limiting, but some have expanded it so that it's just more generally unwanted sexual contact and
Yeah.
varying degrees of offense.
yeah, and the classic case of Kristen Winters presented in her date against Sarah Connor, which caused Sarah Connor to laugh because Sarah Connor is Carl Benjamin's a fucking fuckwit. Is because there was just like weirdly a line where it's just like that wasn't considered like rape, even though it was on the sexual contact because it was with her mouth when she was asleep instead of like the other end. So yeah. Rape is bad, everyone. Don't do it. Always get consent. It's not that hard. Because just like giving someone some tea, offering someone some tea, if they say no, don't give them the tea. You wouldn't like force them to drink a tea if they don't want it. You wouldn't like have
I
them
don't know.
drink,
That seems
force
like
them
what the
drink.
British did for centuries.
It doesn't. It doesn't. That and opium.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kind of
Ooh.
imagining a comic where it shows like a British person going tea with a really creepy voice. Drink the tea.
We're a bit over the 90-minute
Oh,
mark,
sorry.
assuming that like yeah, assuming that you did start on time because like I wasn't here to make
Hey,
sure
I
that you
was here
started
on
on
time.
time.
I was the only one.
Yeah,
Yes.
we actually started on time. It was weird. I think because it was just the two of us, it took like 2 minutes to get the YouTube thing going
Mhm.
Yeah.
live. But to be fair, like I was saying to him at the beginning of the video at that point, which was probably both me and John. So
Yeah. I agree. Like MC OSA is bad as we're.
Mhm.
And it was just like not that anyone here, but like there was like one person that came into like a chat and said, "Oh man, I need to talk to like Bill Cosby because I need to have trouble sleeping." And and the person's like, "Please don't joke about essay like that," because they were also a victim of the essay at one time too. So it's just like, yeah, yeah, let's not joke about Bill Cosby anything, honestly. Who apparently is now touring because like his court case is over, and it's just like,
Mhm.
Why
yeah.
is he not in
uh, what do you call it?
Because there was no evidence
Because-
prior to him giving a statement, and he gave that statement because of an agreement with a prosecutor that he wouldn't be prosecuted. And then another prosecutor came in and said, "You made that agreement with the wrong person, because I'm here now, and we're going to put you in prison." And they put him in prison, and then he appealed and got out.
Yeah, good lawyers and a legal loophole. I am saddened that he is free, but at the same point, I'm glad that there are rules like that so that people who aren't serial rapists actually get their proper justice.
Yeah.
Sometimes. If they're white.
Yeah, we're
It's
talking about
like it's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, it sucks when somebody, especially somebody high profile, gets away with stuff, but it happens so much more the other way that you know
Mhm.
I would
It's like, how do we know
rather
that the U.S. government didn't assassinate Gary Webb? He was white.
oof.
That is a good point. At least that's like a good reason.
Like the
to
other
believe
three,
that.
where the government either definitely did or had some involvement or might have, all three of those were black men.
Yep. Let's see. Like I will said, according to like laws, someone with a vagina cannot commit like rape, even someone against someone who has a vagina. Yeah, which is why GMC doesn't give a shit about like rape and against like other cis women and bi cis women in prison. Yeah, I mean, the whole problem with that is like it's been widely known that it's even joked about like in like media, even to children's media, as where don't drop the soap. And so, but no, that is a serious like, subject too, which is why when Pop Culture Detective covered the pervasivity of like those kind of like jokes, he even gave like a hotline number for people to call that has like experiences like a sexual assault. And like Electronic says that she's like 44 years old and managed to live without like sexually insulting anyone. It's not hard. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like Penn of Penn and Teller said. Um, it's like when he was talking about religion, saying, but if you don't believe, then then what's to stop you from committing rape or murder? And he's like, I commit all the rape and murder I want, which is 0.
No amount of rape and murder.
The GC, not GNC, is like, well, it's like, that's okay, Lilith. I understand. I think I understand your point still. And see, this is what happens to like my forehead. I start scratching at it as where, yeah, gender critical. Yeah, exactly. Those people.
Yeah, we
Is-
actually, like Isaiah shared with us last week, that he had been abused as a child by a female babysitter.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, definitely. And it's just like, even though like domestic abuse is often is seen as like a man beating up a woman, which does happen a lot, as it were. But like there are times in like same sex relationships, a man beating up another man, and like a woman beating up a woman happens all the time, or even like Mas Manila to like her husband. Yet that was joked about in the media, like on the Tonight Show, as were. But no, domestic abuse doesn't matter who the perpetrator or victim is. It's still a serious thing.
And
But
on that
like,
positive note,
yes.
why couldn't
thank
we have
you.
ended on the child bride thing? God.
Oh,
Ooh. Okay, again, people, do not commit a sexual assault. It's actually quite easily to do. Always ask for consent because, again, would you give someone tea when they don't want it? To practice self-care as much as possible within your ability. If you have extra money, as it were, as I've been told before, they like only give when I have extra money. Share the links on page and like old links down there. Let's see. I will grab up the Instagram, and I think I should be able to like see the Instagram posts. Oh no, wait, it's that one. Because like Eli, you do have an Instagram of cute cat pictures.
Yeah, she actually also has a TikTok and a Tumblr. I don't use either very much anymore, because it's like it's taken over a bit of my time to post on all those platforms. But I try to keep up with it, but it's like it's a bit sort of like it it's
But
yeah,
now
but
you're trapped
I
in your
have
apartment because of the broken elevator. You should have all the time for that.
yeah, I should, yeah, but that's
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's just like I heard like Ellie about to say something, and yet I did like something as well about to say something, but I didn't like had anything to say, and so yeah. Okay. I don't think you have anything to promote, Joe McCoy, except like
no.
the mutual aid and like practice and doing that sort of thing. So yes, I'm Summer Geek, Summer Geek on Twitter, Summer Geek on like Twitch, Summer Geek on Tumblr, Summer Geek on co-host, Summer Geek on YouTube, but I haven't posted anything in months. I will be streaming like later today. Not I probably will stream Stardew Valley. It's like an action RPG sort of, with like some magic and a wizard. No magic school though, but still much better than like Hogwarts Legacy. So I'll be streaming that. John Bronwyn, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Indeed. It's Dungeons and Debacles.
That's a good pause. I liked it.
Totally different. A lot of fun. All right. And with that, everybody stay safe. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.